Oh boy, I've got quite a bit to say about this subject. So, if you've kept up with Bethesda and Arcane Studios recently, you'll know that lead designer Ricardo Bear, big fan by the way, did an interview recently where he stated that the Dishonored franchise is resting for now and will likely not be returning for a while, if ever. As you might expect, people lamented this news, and I include myself among them because Dishonored as a series has so much untapped potential that it would be a complete and utter waste to leave it on the shelf and gather dust. There are so many stories that can still be told, and so many locations that we have yet to see or visit. Tivia, Arcane, for God's sake, take us to Tivia! Ultimately, I believe that it would be utterly foolish of us to believe that Dishonored is dead, for several reasons that I will go through, one by one. Reason number one, Arcane and Bethesda are still releasing extended universe material for Dishonored like novels and comics. By the time this video is released, the most recent book, The Veiled Terror, will have been released, wrapping up Billy Lurk's story and explaining what happened to the Isles after the events of Death of the Outsider, while also revealing the fallout of those events and what it might mean for the future. Now, they've advertised this as the final novel, so it's safe to say we won't see any more stories from this era of the Dishonored universe, which moves us on to the next point of discussion. Reason number two, Arcane Studios, and more specifically, the man, the myth, the legend, Harvey Smith, repeatedly stated that Death of the Outsider, and by extension the novels and comics, would conclude the Kaldwin saga storyline. But what exactly does that mean? Well, I think it's pretty clear. Arcane wants to move forward with new characters and new locations further in the timeline so that they can separate themselves completely from what has come before, which allows them the creative freedom to tell new stories and create more new and unique gameplay mechanics for players to discover and, in many cases, exploit. For a hypothetical Dishonored 3, I predict a few things. One, a brand new regime that rules over the Isles. Maybe the Kaldwin bloodline dies out at some point. Two, acceptance of void magic and the disintegration of the Abbey. With the removal of the Outsider, who knows what happens now with the void. Finally, a brand new location with unique artistic design and opportunities for storytelling and gameplay. Tivia! Reason number three, Dishonored is an established franchise with a dedicated fan base that is ravenous for more of this universe in any form of entertainment media. We all want a Dishonored 3, and if the demand becomes high enough, Arcane, and more specifically Bethesda, will see the dollar signs. Granted, the series is not the moneymaker that games like The Elder Scrolls or Fallout are, but it shouldn't have to be to achieve success. The last thing to consider is that Arcane Studios are moving away from Dishonored for the time being because they want to spread their wings and try something new. They've expressed an interest in returning to the ideas presented in The Crossing, a game that they were developing at one point that would blend single-player and multiplayer into one seamless experience. Ultimately, many of that game's ideas, including the striking art style, were incorporated into the original Dishonored as we now know it. Multiplayer is already something that Arcane is exploring with Prey, as they will soon release a hide-and-seek PvP mode featuring the iconic mimics and their namesake ability as a core feature of the mode. As always, I'll gladly play anything that Arcane releases in the future, but I still find myself intrigued to learn what will happen to my favorite franchise in the future. In the meantime, if you enjoyed this video, be sure to leave a comment letting me know what you think about Dishonored's future. Is it dead? Is there potential for at least one more game? Also, be sure to consider subscribing to the channel for more content like this, and hit that notification bell so you never miss a video. And remember that the Outsider walks among us. Thanks for watching.